This episode was brought to you by the Host Hotel, located at 1860 Quebec Route 132, Kahnawake, Quebec. The Host Hotel has a restaurant on site, a store, and a Timmy's on location, and is close to all Quebec's entertainment. This episode was also brought to you by Pit Stop Convenience. Stop by 888 Route 132, Kahnawake, Mohawk Territory for your beer, wine, cigarettes, and vapes. And after you stop there, make sure you fuel up at Mohawk Gas and Mini. Mohawk Gas and Mini is a family-owned operated business located on Highway 138 in Kahnawake. Fill your tank and stop in and grab some pre-made meals, snacks, or your favorite alcoholic beverage. Offering a wide variety of vapes, tobacco products, and serving you 7 days a week. Thank you for bringing the Creators Game podcast to your community and supporting the growth of the Creators Game. Now let's start the show. Creators Game episode 32. I'm Dave Miller.
Jay Smith.
Chris Vale.
I'm Trey Deere
Koleton Marquis.
And we're going to get right into it. When did you guys first pick up a lacrosse stick? And you guys don't start talking at the same time. You guys pick. You guys got to figure it out.
I see you first, yeah.
I mean, probably like the same time Trey has, probably like around like 3 or 4. I mean, that's when our minor system kind of picks up, so we kind of started off early. We were always a year or two apart, so we never really got to play with each other, like growing up minors and stuff. But I mean, once we got to junior, it kind of all changed.
My uncle was actually the coach of the year above me, so I was able to like go to their, it was like paperweight or peanut or whatever it was, but I was able to go to their practices and just kind of be around the guys and not actually playing games. So I was very fortunate for that.
Okay, so that leads me to my second question. So does lacrosse run in you guys' family, or was it just something that was kind of pushed on you because, hey, you're on Kahnawake, you're an indigenous, play lacrosse?
Yeah, I think, just growing up on the res, there's lacrosse everywhere, and it's kind of hard not to play when everyone's playing. My dad actually didn't play lacrosse. He was a hockey player. So I also played hockey growing up.
And then let the audience know who your father is.
My father's Tyler Deere.
Okay.
You probably see him at the arena all day today.
You probably see him at the arena all day today.
He's a rink rat. He loves watching lacrosse. Provincial is his favorite time. He'll go down a couple days early. I'm not even playing anymore, but he'll still be there. I'd say he's a rink rat.
Okay, so you get into lacrosse early, and then when did you guys first for both of you guys, when did you guys first start playing in the minor system, like paperweight and everything?
Yeah, paperweight.
And for both of you guys, when did you guys figure out that you guys were good at this and you guys actually want to put some real time into this?
I mean, yeah, for my team, we always had 13 to 14 guys on a team, so it was always hard. We were calling this guy up pretty much every game, starting when we got to midgets. But I guess I would just say when about 15, 16 in midgets, we kind of started to go out of school in the States and kind of set ourselves apart, So.
And then where are you guys now as far as school?
I go to U Albany.
I'm at Syracuse.
Okay, and then how did that end for you? Or this season, sorry.
Yeah, it was a pretty good season. We had a lot of ups and downs. We were middle of the season. We were riding a 3-game losing streak, and we kind of had a meeting, and we're like, hey, we got to dial this in. This isn't Syracuse lacrosse, and we went on a little bit of a heater. Got to start playing well, and we made it to the Final Four. We eventually lost to Maryland.
And I know Vale was following you very closely, so Vale's got all the stats there. So tell me a little bit about you.
So I'm in Peterborough right now, senior A.
Okay.
We just played Brampton 2 nights ago. We beat them by 1. They're a strong team. Played the Chiefs. We beat them by 1. That was a good game. They were missing a couple of their big guys, like Dane Smith and Josh Byrne. But I think we still have a good group of guys that can actually battle with the Chiefs. And
what was that locker room like? You guys won 7-6, and I remember even the Peterborough paper was 6 Asian Chiefs lose first regular season game since 2023. Was that kind of make you guys feel a bit good to kind of beating those guys?
Yeah, especially because it's so early in the season.
Mm-hmm.
We're still trying to get all our guys and getting comfortable again with each other. But I thought we just played good. We didn't really try to do anything that we weren't capable of. So we know we can beat those guys. They're a good team, but we're just as good. So.
And then, like you say, you got another friend of the pod, Nick Rose, in net for you guys, right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. It was great because Rosie's he was our GM in Orangeville.
Nice.
Still Trey's GM, and he can talk a little bit.
Was there any locker room talk, or after? Did he talk about that at all? Does he ever talk about that interview?
With Orangeville?
Yeah.
I mean, like when I got, like, they made the trade over the summer too, so I just seen it on Instagram and I texted him right away. But yeah, I know once, I think we had our first game was in Brooklyn, and guy Rosie was down there, so I got to go talk to him and say what's up.
And you follow the podcast. You've seen the ongoing beef with.
You've been exposed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was. I mean, I hate to say it, but he was. I mean, and he accepted. I said it to his face. I didn't say it behind his back, and he accepted my reasoning, and I did find out that he's a decent guy.
Yeah.
Rosie's pretty cool after all.
Yeah, he takes good care of us. So, like when we were in Orangeville, especially when we were together. He made sure that we had a place to stay. We had money, and we weren't just sitting around all day. And yeah, he took good care of us. Great guy.
Did you negotiate housing as part of your contract like he had to?
Yeah, so they actually put us up with a billet family.
Yeah.
So we live with. I live with a family. They have a young boy. He plays U15, I think, and then a younger girl. She plays U13, I think. I think I'm right, but yeah. So we live with them, and great family, and yeah, it's pretty.
We had Lyndon on the podcast too,
Oh, yeah.
and he thoroughly enjoyed it. So
Yeah.
that's what made me rethink about the whole rivalry with Six Nations. Is it a rivalry, or is it Orangeville just has that much passion for the game and care for their team as much as we do, or maybe even more so?
Yeah.
That was the big question, and we threw that Rosie too. So.
Yeah, it's I think like it's weird seeing a community like other than on the res like care so much about lacrosse, and it's like there's not much in Orangeville, so it's like in the summertime lacrosse is like everyone's top priority, and like we go out for breakfast or something, and some people will recognize us and they're like, oh, you guys play for the Junior A Northmen. They're like, let us get your dinner.
Yeah.
So there's some perks to playing for them, and the community really supports the A team, so it's awesome to be there.
So do you guys think a senior team would be supported well there?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing that Nick had said. Because everybody supports the junior team so well, he didn't know if a senior team would get the support. I think they would, because I think there needs to be a senior team in Orangeville.
Yeah, I think the question like there is like Rosie talked about last podcast. Like they already have like a junior C, a junior B, a junior A. It's kind of be hard for them to carry on another senior B team. But I think they'd be really good. Like just my last year in Orangeville, we graduated Chris Irregulari, like Ryan Hartley was in the program. Those are two unbelievable goalies, and just the players like that have already came out, and there's already a bunch in the NLL, and I think they could really have a good team per senior anyways if they pull one together.
I think it's doable.
How's the coaching over there? Like it sounds like everything they got going on over there is pretty positive. Like how's the coaching over there? Is it different than I guess around here, like the style, I guess?
Yeah, I think they do a good job of giving back. So like a lot of their alumni and guys that have played junior in the past are coaching their U13 or their U15 team, and
So because like Orangeville kind of has a system, and a lot of the players are giving back, that system's kind of carried forward. Right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And then it just keeps getting going, or it just keeps going, and it's pretty cool to walk in the arena before practice, and you see Brody Merrill coaching on the floor, and there's just different guys that are like you just see around the arena, and you're like, well, I want to pick this guy's brain because he's a great lacrosse player, and I want to know what he thinks.
Well, Kahnawake just recently started a junior C team, so there's growth here.
Yeah.
There's definite growth here, and you guys experience playing here, experience playing in a lacrosse powerhouse like Orangeville, and we've asked about having a senior team there. Now, for us at Six Nations, we have 4 junior teams and 4 senior teams, and that's not counting the girls lacrosse and the girls senior team as well. So I think that there's nothing but growth that could happen here, just as much as there is on Six Nations, in Orangeville, in wherever. I think it just needs, like you said, I know Dale will ask you later about what is needed here to grow the game. So I guess I kind of asked it on you.
Yeah, no, that's good. We'll just kind of go into that. Like, what do you feel that like Kahnawake actually needs? Even what do you feel like when you were growing up, something that like lacked around here, like even a resource? Like on Six Nations, we said we need more floor time. We have too many players and not enough teams. So what was something that growing up that
maybe you and amongst your friends, you guys were always talking about like, hey, one day we want this, or one day we want that, or when we get older, we're gonna give back in this way. What's like something that you guys talk about, or even as kids?
Well, like being around Syracuse and being close to Onondaga, like their pavilion, unbelievable. Like it's beautiful. And
Fieldhouse.
Yeah, it's like state of the art. And I think like Kahnawake would really benefit from something like that, like just having it 24/7, like all year round. I know we're just building the new rink by the arena. We're supposed to be putting the roof on it, but so it'd be good once that gets rolling. But like growing up, that's something that I wish I had, was like somewhere to go to play lacrosse like all year round. But like then again, like I also played hockey, and I think playing multiple sports at a young age is really good for your development. But just to be able to, like, you see the rink out over here, like in the winter time, there's no lacrosse being played there, and so like recently the weather, there's not really been ice in there either.
I seen recently someone stole your lacrosse net or something like that. Yeah.
I know Derek wasn't too happy about that.
I seen that on Facebook. I was like, who does that, right?
Me and Dave were like, I'm pretty sure that's the rink they stole because we seen the picture and everything. But like you said, it looks like a nice rink out there.
Yeah, it is. They just repaved it maybe last year. It's kind of or when I got back 2 days ago. That's kind of our first stop. Went back to the old stomping grounds.
Like you said, you did play hockey. Did you played hockey at Salisbury Prep as well?
I did.
How was that like? There's probably some high-end hockey, right?
Yeah, it was pretty unreal. I kind of went to Salisbury thinking I was just going to play lacrosse, and I knew they kind of had a good hockey team. And I wasn't really going to try out because I was like, hockey's like I'm probably better at lacrosse. And I ended up trying out for the team, and I'm so grateful that I did because, there's my junior year, there's like 2 guys that got drafted to the NHL, and like one of my roommate my junior year, like he signed to Florida, and it's just like these connections that I have like with Salisbury, because it's a boarding school, so like people are coming from all over the world, and like there's a guy on our team from Lithuania. I didn't even know where Lithuania was, but it's just cool to see like everyone has their own path and their own story, and to be tied to Salisbury, and that's how we all met. It's a pretty cool experience.
Did Brody Merrill? Did he ever talk about being like, hey, we're alumni? You're Orangeville alumni and Salisbury alumni?
Yeah. So he was actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he was like. Actually, I don't even want to say it, but he might have been at Salisbury before I was born.
Yeah. So kind of was their idea of why the Merrill started, because I don't know if it's the Pat. I think Pat might have went there as well.
Yeah.
Like that kind of gave their family the idea of, hey, instead of going to the States, let's do this in Canada.
It's it was a great time, and I enjoyed it.
You were in Syracuse, correct?
Yep.
How did that end? We kind of just talked about, Vail kind of gets me going a little bit more about anything field. I know nothing about field, so I want Vail to get involved in this one. How did the season end? And tell me a little bit about your field career, because again, I don't know too much about the field.
Yeah, so I played a little bit of Sweet Lax growing up. Okay. Played a couple of tournaments, and then the travel got a little much, so I kind of took a couple of years off. And then once it started getting close to like my recruiting summer, I started playing a little bit, and that's how I got in touch with Salisbury, was through Sweet Lax. So I kind of, my route to field lacrosse kind of go through Sweet Lax, and I actually started playing in Uckusaste. It was my first ever field lacrosse tournament with Mikey Thompson. He had Uckusaste and had Taco, and so that was my first like ever field lacrosse tournament. Then I went to Sweet Lax, then went to Salisbury, and my coach Spinella, love him to death. He's a great guy, and he kind of took me under his wing, just being far from home and being the only native out there. He kind of took me under his wing, and then I got recruited to Syracuse.
How was that being like the only native out there? Was it like a culture shock a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. Especially with all the different personalities coming from around the world. But they took me in with open arms, and I was actually in a school in Montreal, Cooper Academy, before I went to Salisbury, and one of my cousins started Orange Shirt Day there for Every Child Matters. Okay. And I was like, well, if he's doing it at my old school, I'm like, can I do it at Salisbury? So I talked to Coach Spinella, and I was like, hey, I want to bring this Every Child Matters movement and celebrate. I'm at a boarding school, and residential school is kind of like boarding school. So I'm like, I want to spread the word out. And he's like, yeah. He set me a meeting up with the administration, and they were like right on board with everything. They got shirts made, the Salisbury logo, Every Child Matters on it, and I did a presentation. And this was like my first couple months, two months at school, and they kind of just welcomed me with open arms, and they supported me and my cause, I guess.
That's actually like really positive and really cool. Like, what are you going to school for?
I'm a sports management major right now.
Okay, and what would not like I don't want nothing bad to happen to you with lacrosse, but like let's say you couldn't play lacrosse, what would you want to use your education for?
Well, with my major, like it's pretty cool that like it's one of the few in the country or in the United States that like has sports management, and like it's just gonna keep me in sports, whether it's like doing management with sports or like a social media like post with teams. Like all the like a lot of guys that are in my classes that don't play sports are like working with like the New York Knicks, the Mets, like they're out in Dallas working with the Cowboys, like the Lakers, just all these interns that are like keeping them inside of sports.
Yeah, because a lot of time what they're looking for interns who just generally know the culture. They know how to get in and out of these spaces. They know how to move in within these types of rooms. Because sometimes you can put people into a room and like, you know, maybe they know nerdy things, like they might know cameras and stuff, but they understand lacrosse.
Yeah.
They understand that you have to go out there and like, you actually have to play, and you actually have to know these characteristics of the people who play these games.
Yep.
And so like you can get into let's say like even myself, I get into a room like a bunch of football players and they're all 6'5", 300 pounds. How do you make yourself heard in that room? And that's like some of the stuff they can teach you in school.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they talk about different things like that, being able to stand out and manage those teams and different things.
Yeah, it's a good program, and it's like one of the tops in the country. So like I'm getting taught by good professors, and one of my professors actually is he's what do they call it? Kind of like a guru for the basketball team, and he kind of helps like the guys that aren't going to the NBA like kind of find their way and into like the I guess real world and the job market. Mm-hmm. And I kind of talked to him about like just I'm like, I want to play lacrosse for as long as I can. I'm like, but if it doesn't happen, like I don't want to be like sitting here like my palms up, not knowing what to do. I'm like, I want to just like talk about it a little bit. Like I'm not going to tell you what exactly I want. Like I don't know what I want to do if I'm not playing lacrosse, but I want to kind of have an idea. And he's kind of helped me through that. I mean, I still don't know, but he's kind of guided me in a better direction.
You're on the right path, man. You're on the right path. Like, and then even for yourself, like, again, say lacrosse doesn't work out. Does that ever come to your mind of like, what is it that you would want to do? What would make you feel that like your life is fulfilled if lacrosse wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I take communications at Albany, so it's nothing cool like sports management. So,
I take communications too. That's how I communicate.
Kind of like the broadcasting and stuff like that. It's kind of what you're trying to like do. Communications.
Yeah, I mean, kind of just going with it. Maybe I can come help you guys on.
Hey man, there's a spot for you. There's a spot for you.
I have a spot for you to play too.
Hey, I'm recruiting. We've been trying to grow this media here.
You can do both. Come on, you can do both.
Yes, you can. You can do both. Yeah,
Did you take communications at Hopkins too, or?
No, I took political science at Hopkins for 2 years, and kind of wasn't my thing.
Yeah. I know it's a big doctor school, so I thought I didn't know if you were gonna say you were taking medicine, but
yeah, I'm no doctor.
But how was it like making that transition over from Hopkins to Albany?
Yeah, it was different for sure. The culture change was different. Mm-hmm. Albany is great though. Coach Marr is the best. Merrick he's our offense coach. Mm-hmm. Merrick Thompson is he's as top as they come. So I love being there.
Like I said, it always seems like you said, those coaches and stuff like Marr, Blaze Reardon are always kind of like that free, kind of still kept that free flowing offense and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, and we had a couple. Amos Whitcomb,
mm-hmm.
who I don't know if he's not with you guys now.
No, he's Allegheny, I believe.
Yeah. So I got to play with him this year, and it was great, and they kind of just fed right into our games. We
mm-hmm.
kind of like that free-flowing offense, and just going out and being a lacrosse player at the end of the day. So that's kind of what Albany is all about. And
Like I said, just keeping like that, the Great Dane culture, right? Just kind of like he's kind of kept that Thompson pipeline going throughout the years of kind of still like having the good reputation mark, right? And then as he keeps recruiting guys. And I was gonna backtrack too. Was obviously like you said, you're 2 years older than Trey. Was Nick Rose the mastermind of kind of getting all you guys there?
Yeah, it kind of all started back in Survivors Cup. It was a tournament, a junior tournament down in Akwesasne. And there's like Nepean, Tri-Nation, which was basically the Kahnawake team. You had Orangeville, Mimico. You had all like the main guys out there. So we were kind of all spread out on different teams. Like Trey was already playing on Orangeville. I was on the Kahnawake team. You had Caleb Benedict, and Jim Bucktooth, who were both on Akwesasne. So I think Nick, that definitely helped Nick Rose kind of recruit us all to Orangeville. And I think that the following year we got most of our guys going up on there. And
It also made it a lot easier going to Orangeville, knowing that I wasn't going to be alone. And
definitely.
There was like I had him come in, Jim. We had a good crew over there, and we kind of took care of each other, and it kind of brought the res to Orangeville a little bit. And we had our own little squad, and it was pretty cool to be all playing together. And
because like you said, a lot of people were like, why aren't they playing Arrows? But like you said, you guys built your own thing in Orangeville, right? And then kind of like, like they really seem to have accepted you guys, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, the pipeline's a little easier too to come from here to there because Six Nations does have the arrows. So there's a lot of paperwork that would need to be done to get players out of the Arrows organization or the Rebels organization to go to Orangeville. So it's a lot easier from a manager standpoint to get players from here to go there. So yeah, that's another good factor that Orangeville and Nick probably thought about is it's going to be a lot easier.
yeah.
So you guys went there and ripped it up. So good for you.
Did you guys ever have any times during your lacrosse careers where, like, you may have wanted to play for a certain team or represent a certain community, however, the paperwork didn't work out, or you got traded, or there's something that had happened, and then you're just like, man, I don't even want to play this year? Any circumstances like that?
Not that I can think of the top of my head, but like at the end of the day, like I kind of grew up an Arrows fan, and I remember watching them win the Minto in Brampton. It was like the Holga and Audie and all them on that team, and then I get drafted to Orangeville, and that was kind of like just the hand I was dealt, and I kind of just ran with that. So that would be like the only time that I was like, hey. Like when I first got to Orangeville, I was like, I don't really know a lot about Orangeville. I didn't really know about the Orangeville Six Nations rivalry. I was just a young little guy that wanted to play for the Arrows, but that didn't happen. And I'm grateful for my time in Orangeville, and we were treated very well.
And I can imagine, like how you're saying, maybe wanting to play for the Arrows and stuff like that, being from the Reds and stuff like that, it's like, it could be easier to adapt going to play for the Arrows than having to go play for, Orangeville or something like that. And then what about yourself from the original question?
Yeah, I mean, coming out of minor, like I didn't get drafted, so I didn't have the chance to go to the Arrows right away. Like, I mean, just like what Trey said, like being a young guy, like you always watch the Arrows, you see all the Arrows stuff, and it was hard for me, like, because I went undrafted and I kind of had to make my own way up. But yeah, Trey was going to be in Orangeville, and you had Bucktooth, and I just thought that it'd be a good fit for me there. Especially Trey's my best friend, so I want to try to be around him, play with him as long as possible.
I have a question then, since you guys are best friends. What was it like playing against each other at the D1 level?
We actually didn't get to play against
No?
each other.
No, we
Well,
did.
we got sticks outside. Let's see.
Yeah, we'll settle it.
How do you think that would play out? Let's go there.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
Guess I don't know. We have to figure that out.
Oh, I don't know. He said, "Oh, geez," and you just smiled.
I know the answer.
They're like, one of us has to play defense. So I don't know.
Yeah, we have to bring the cameras out to the rink across the street.
Oh, okay.
Kind of too, like you said, almost like, obviously besides like kind of both being in New York schools, you kind of almost seem like your careers kind of follow each other. What was it like being the two young players on the Haudenosaunee team this past World's Games?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was obviously like we grew up watching, Lyle, Randy, and all the best of the best, from the res, and like we went to tryouts. Obviously, we weren't like we had high hopes to make the team, but we weren't like we're kind of just happy to be there, being the young guys, and they trusted us and they ended up bringing us along, and we got to play in some games and score some goals, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I think anytime you can play for Team Haudenosaunee, it's special. It's so much bigger than yourself, and you think about all the guys in the past and like what we had to do to get a team, and then like trying to get into the Olympics, and but yeah, playing with those guys, it was unreal. You're kind of starstruck, You're sitting around, I'm sitting next to Zed, I'm sitting next to Lyle, and it's like I'm a 21-year-old kid, like I grew up watching these guys. It's like how do I not be a fanboy a little bit, but also try and pick their brain and be like, hey, why are you guys so great? Like, what makes you guys so great? And one thing that I really took was like Cody Jameson's leadership. He's been the captain of many teams, and just the way he carries himself, and kind of how he leads the team by example. And that was something that I was like, because like I didn't really know Cody before that, and I might have talked to him a couple times, but like really getting to know him, and like that was something that I was like, that's something that I want to implement into not even just my lacrosse game, like my everyday life. Yeah.
And I've been asking everyone here, tell me a little bit about Kahnawake, a little bit about the culture. What about the culture of lacrosse here on Kahnawake? What can you tell me about it? If you wanted to teach me something, I just came here for a podcast. Teach me about Kahnawake lacrosse.
We've had a lot of great players come through and throughout the years, and we were in a little bit of a dark days couple years back, especially with our junior team not being the greatest.
What is dark days?
Like we weren't making the playoffs, or we weren't making it far, and I think that we got a lot more people playing and a lot more people helping out now, and it's just kind of like people are starting to be like, hey, like a couple years ago, you guys probably wouldn't have came to Kahnawake for a podcast, and.
We wouldn't have had a podcast a couple of years ago.
True, but like Kahnawake wasn't really on the map for lacrosse for a couple of years, and I think like with our junior team, or with the Hunters, making the Ontario final last year, like we're taking steps in the right direction, and the next step is winning that Founders Cup, and the senior team hopefully they can bring a President's Cup home. But there hasn't been too much winning in Kahnawake. But so the last couple of years, it's been nice to be on that side of the win column.
Okay, so not too much winning in Kahnawake, a little, and that's what you mean by like the dark period.
Yeah.
What about like you guys clearly have enough coaches here. So like who are some of the coaches who like helped you growing up?
Well, I'm trying to think of my first coach. It was my uncle Kurt Tuax. He was with the senior B Mohawks for a long time. He was hard on me. I guess he kind of seen that I had something special, and he kind of pushed me to be the player I am at a young age. Sometimes I didn't like him too much because he'd be yelling at me, and I was just a young kid. But like I'm extremely grateful for what he did. Then like Digi McCumber. His Yoris McCumber, one of our other best friend. It's his dad. He coached us growing up. And then Kirby Joe Daibo.
I know Kirby Joe.
Yeah, he coached us every year. I'm the same age as Cayman, so he was our coach every year, and those were kind of my coaches throughout the year. And then once I got to junior, kind of went to the Orangeville side and got those coaches. Okay,
and then like you guys pretty much played together growing up, so same coaches.
No, for me it was a little different, just because like, we had low numbers, so it's kind of like we had almost a new coach every year. It felt like, but I feel like when I got to junior, when I started APing with the Hunters, like I started to notice the coach I can think of right now is Garrett Cree. Like when I was in midgets, he was the junior coach, and I was just the little guy APing, and he believed me enough to play me almost every game as an AP. So that's a coach in Kahnawake that I can think of. I think he's in Augustine right now with the U17s, I believe, or U15. I'm not sure.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Derek too.
he's out there. He was the Hunters coach last year. but they parted ways, and yeah, he's down in Alcazesna right now.
Growing up, were you guys? I feel like you were a captain, or were you a captain growing up? No, I feel like definitely you were. You feel like I don't know. I've said this before to some of the people on the podcast, but like I can see leaders, and I feel like you're a leader. So I feel like you would have been a captain. You're very well spoken.
Trying to think back to it, I think that like we just kind of went out and played lacrosse, and we didn't really have captains and assistants. No one had a C or an A on their jersey. It was kind of like we played for Kahnawake, and we're going to do this together.
Who was giving the speeches on the team?
I'd say mainly our coaches.
Oh, okay.
Crib Joe gave some pretty good speeches. DJ gave some good speeches. Another one off the top of my head, Lou Alfred. He was coaching, or Lou Alfred Sr. He was coaching us too, and he had some good speeches. But I'm trying to think back to like minor days of who was talking, but I can't really.
Yeah, like what I'm trying to get at is like when you like kind of like both you guys, when did you like break out of your shell? Because sometimes, you know, a lot of I would say lacrosse players aren't very vocal. You know, sometimes they'll sit here and they'll be like, oh, I don't got too much to say or whatever. But like, you know, you guys are very out there, outspoken. So when did you guys kind of come out of your shell and be like, you know, like we can talk lacrosse, maybe not like on camera, but like, you know, like what do you guys do outside of lacrosse as hobbies to make you so outspoken? I guess because again, we do have people come on the podcast and they say nothing.
I don't know. It's a tough question. You wanna?
Yeah, maybe like it's like I feel like we're always like moving place to place, so we're like.
I feel like you're cultured. You guys have actually traveled.
Yeah, like Trey's been to Syracuse, Salisbury, Orangeville. Like we've been to a lot of places where, you know, we have to kind of grow out of our shell a little bit to get to know new people, and like we're on new teams almost every year, it feels like, and just making new friends, new teammates.
Yeah, I like to be open-minded too, and you know, as much as I want to learn from other guys, like you know, just keeping that open mind and like trying to pick people's brain and see what they think and what their thought process is, and like you said, playing on a bunch of different teams, like you see these different cultures, and I just try and take like what I see would be fit best for me, like personally, my game, and you know, outside of lacrosse, I try and take that and kind of run with it.
So I'm thinking because you guys are elite players, you get a lot of interview requests, a lot of media requests. So that probably helped as well, because I have a Syracuse teammate of yours on my team right now. Barely speaks, but does he's talking on the floor, and it's Greg Elijah Brown.
Right.
EB don't say too much.
No, I love Greg though. He was my roommate this last year at Cuse, and I got to know him pretty well. And once you get to know him, then he starts to open up a little bit. But you know, the first couple of weeks, I'm trying to think back to last year. Like we'd be hanging out and we wouldn't be talking too much, but it was just kind of just like feeling out process. But yeah, he's
just playing catch, not a word, not talking, no, just playing catch for 3 hours straight, not even saying nothing to each other.
No one wants to say we want to stop, but we both want to stop.
Yeah,
but we just keep throwing the ball.
No, he's gonna get tired soon.
A lot of this going on.
Yeah.
No, you quit. I don't quit.
Yeah. No, but yeah, his awesome. You know, and like you said, his game speaks for himself. He's an unreal player, and
He is.
and he can shoot the ball.
Yeah.
He can float.
But that's what I
he
get.
floats the ball. Yeah.
That's what I noticed though. The guys we've had in the past who are phenomenal on the floor, like they said, don't say too much. But if you look at guys that are a little older than you guys, like Zeddy, like Lyle, they don't speak very much, but their actions on the floor and off the floor, like they'll get off the bus and there'll be people standing there waiting for an interview, and they'll stop and like pick up garbage off the ground because it's insulting to Mother Earth. Like they do stuff like that, which to me speaks volumes, probably more than what they're going to say into the mic. But Daya's right. Lacrosse players generally are pretty quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a breath of fresh air when you guys come on. You're energetic. You're like, yeah, I'm happy to be here. Sometimes people come on and are just like, oh, he's gonna ask me a question.
The bright lights scare them away.
Yeah.
They got to get Vail energy going.
I had two questions for Trey. One, What was it like kind of Syracuse? You guys kind of had a lot of box players, right? Owen Hills, English,
Yep.
your buddy Spalina. Like, I'm sure, did you play part of getting him in Orangeville as well, Spalina?
No, actually, I did not. So I actually didn't know Joey too well. I met him at a Final Four game. Like maybe my June. Like once I committed to Syracuse, we kind of just said hi. And I'm Joey. I'm Trey. Nice to meet you. And then Rosie reached out and he was like, hey, we're thinking of bringing in Joey Spalina. And I was like, oh, like this is gonna be interesting. Like feel a guy come and play box, like and he kind of just ran with it and that was his roommate in Orangeville, and
Oh, nice.
we were kind of always all over at their place. So I got to know him really well the summer before going into Syracuse. So that was good, and it helped us get chemistry. But yeah, we do have a lot of box guys on Cuse, and we have even a couple defenders, Michael Grace. But yeah, I think our offense we're kind of a free flowing offense, kind of like Albany. We try and play positionless lacrosse, and it's just kind of go out there and have fun. That was our big thing this year. It was like we want to go have fun. Like we're at our best when we're having fun.
How much fun, like I said, like Dave said, I was following Syracuse. My dad, being from Long Island, he went to Hofstra. I got a quarterfinal Q shirt in the mail. And
Oh, yeah.
what was it like having your Harvard comeback? Are you guys down 8-2? And
Yeah, it was a rough first half we had. They kind of came into the game and they kind of brought it to us, and being in the dome, it was kind of like a shock. Like this is not the Syracuse that we're used to seeing, and we went into halftime, and there was never a doubt that we weren't coming back, and that we talked a lot about belief. Just have that belief. Like if everyone believes right now, then we got this, and we came out and. We had a great second half, and part of the reasons our face-off guy Johnny Mullen is a beast. He works extremely hard. Doesn't drink, doesn't do anything. He's strictly a lacrosse player, and it shows. His dedicated to the game, and that was a big part of our success at Syracuse too. Was Johnny Mullen.
Is that a big thing for you? Like the not drinking and not smoking? Like
Yeah, I try and stay away from it, but being in college sometimes it's hard.
it just happens, part of life, right?
Yeah, and kind of being around it a lot, you kind of get tied up into it. But I try and stay away from it, and try and encourage younger generations to stay away from it, because it usually doesn't lead to good things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hear a lot. You see a lot about lacrosse and partying kind of go hand in hand, and there is a lot of players that actually don't. So kudos to you guys for not, because you hear it all the time. I was reading a thing that I posted from last year, and it says out of 10 things you do, you can do 9 right, but everybody only notices the mistake.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm not saying live mistake free, because you don't learn without them. But it's good that you guys are showing that to the younger generation, that it doesn't need to be a party atmosphere all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it even kind of shows in the game too. Do you ever have any experiences like, let's say you're out with some of your teammates or something like that. They're going a little hard that night, and like, we got a game in the morning, we got practice, we got whatever we got, and then you see them on the floor, and then they're being trash. And then you got to be like, man, if you would have just listened to me, if you would have just and they're the same age as you, but you're like almost being the adult in the situation. How many times does that happen?
I don't think too many. Especially at Syracuse, it's kind of known as a party school, but as a lacrosse team, we have some team rules, like no drinking during the week. Like we have practice throughout the week, so you shouldn't be out, till 3 a.m. getting drunk and then showing up to practice hungover. Those are just like little culture things that we try and keep, and Syracuse is a party school, and there's a lot of partying, so we try and stay away from it. But there's also times where you go have fun and you enjoy yourself, after a big W or whatever it may be. But yeah, I think it's just drawing that line between having fun and being stupid.
And this one,
Same thing at Albany?
Yeah, I know. We don't really. I mean, after a win, I'd be sitting here lying to you if I said we didn't drink. But I mean, we definitely have fun. I mean, we keep it within reason, obviously. We don't have guys at all going out like before the game, like drinking, doing anything stupid. Kind of, yeah, we don't have those guys.
What about like even like you see it in all the movies and stuff like that, like in other sports, because there's movies about other sports, like you have all this like this brotherhood in college and stuff like that, and like sororities and stuff. Is it kind of like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of sororities and frat houses, and as an athlete, playing D1 sport, well, I don't know if it's a Syracuse rule, but it's a rule on our lacrosse team that like you're not allowed to be in a frat or anything like that. Like your frat is the lacrosse team. These are your brothers, and
Okay.
that's kind of like the fraternities. That's kind of like what you do. You go to a fraternity and you do your rush or whatever, and those are your friends, and it's like that's their brotherhood, and then it's like the lacrosse team, that's our brotherhood, and we're kind of fighting for something bigger than to throw a nice party and have fun on the weekends, you know.
Was there any like any rules in college that you guys were like this is just not a rule that I'm willing to follow for lacrosse? Like this is just like it's not a this is like it's like yeah, I don't know how to describe it, like just like something like ethically like you just couldn't do. You're like, I don't know. Like anything that deterred you away from lacrosse and because of college, because sometimes you can go to college, university, and they can have stipulations on you, like you need to be in it this time, or you need to like do certain things, and it's like that's not the way I live my life. I don't know if I can convert that quick.
Not really. No, I think like they treat us like men. Like we're grown men, and they trust that we're gonna make the right decisions, and really like we have a couple of culture rules, but there's nothing too crazy where like it's like you have to be in your room at this time, and they let us have our fun, and as long as you're hanging around the guys, like we're all pretty goal oriented, and I think that like once you're around those people, you guys all start pulling together, and those are the kind of the people you want to surround yourself with, is like people that have the same mindset and the same goals as you. And that just drives you to be a better person, a better player, and it's a lot easier. I think that's why we're good friends too, because we kind of have the same dream, the same goals, and it's pretty cool to do it. We have two different paths, but we're going in the same direction, and that's kind of where our friendship really started. Was we have something special, and it's pretty cool to do it alongside of them.
Now I want to ask you about those dreams and goals, and I want to start with you. So, what was the blueprint that you were told when you were growing up? Like, what was the way that you could attain your dreams and goals? And then now going forward, being, an adult and a man, and you went through all this process, what do you feel that the blueprint is now that you could give out advice to the youth?
Oh, geez. I mean, like my path was obviously a little different. I went to high school in New Jersey. I did my years out there, so haven't really spent too much time down here, but I know I just been kind of going from place to place.
But like in your mind, when you were younger, what did you think the blueprint was? And then at what point did you kind of like had to pivot and be like, okay, maybe this isn't it, and let's try this? Like, how many times did you try to, like, we're all trying to get our goals and dreams, and every day we have to pivot, we have to make adjustments and different things. So like, growing up, like, what was the process, like, in your head?
Yeah, well, I feel like when I was younger, I just kind of wanted to make it off the res to kind of get my name out there, and just to keep playing. I was lucky enough to be playing with the Junior Bs, and for them to, like, they kind of helped me to kind of become the player I am, from them just trusting me and just kind of putting the ball in my stick. But yeah, I just, from a young age, I just kind of wanted to get out right away and kind of just show that I'm capable of playing lacrosse at the highest level.
Yeah, I think that's important for a lot of people to hear. As like a lot of like Indigenous people, it's like, oh yeah, I just want to get off the res, and I just want to like show that I have talent, because all this talent can't be seen if it's just like sitting there. Like all this stuff needs to be streamed. Everyone needs to be able to see all this stuff. This game needs to grow. But if we're all just like hoarding our talent in one place, then it just sits there, and then like it doesn't grow. So like it's that's why I like asking those like type of questions of like, in your mind, what did you think the blueprint was? And then like what do you think it is now? And then asking you now.
I think my dad played a big part of it in it too. He always told me that Kahnawake is always going to be here. You know, it's always going to be around. And he's like, go off and make a name for yourself. And he's like, don't forget where you come from, though. Like,
That's important.
Sure, make sure you represent our people well. And you know, at the end of the day, you're from Kahnawake, and that's where people are going to remember you. And he always made sure to make sure that I give back to the community too. And that's something as I'm getting older that I'm trying to do a little bit more. I haven't been in Kahnawake for more than like 2 weeks in a couple of years, so it's kind of hard to do that. But you know, as I get older and as I stop playing or play less games, going to senior or whatever it may be, trying to be home more and trying to give back to the little kids, because you know, I was fortunate enough to be kind of, I don't want to say mentored, but Miles Thompson was my role model, and you know, I was fortunate enough to live 2 doors down from him, so I kind of always looked up to him, and he was always willing to give back to me. And you know, whether it's going to play catch in the yard for 20 minutes or whatever it is, like that made my day, you know.
What was that relationship like? Like just being that close to him?
Yeah, you know, it's our relationship grown over the years, and you know, I look to him sometimes when I'm feeling down or when I'm struggling, and I'll be like, hey, what do you think about this? And you know, he's always kind of been that shoulder for me, and I just really appreciate him. And you know, his play speaks for himself too. And but just the off the floor stuff, like, you know, how they're always willing to give back, and they're always making time for kids, and you know, whether it's signing an autograph, taking a picture, like whatever it is, that's kind of where I got, like, I want to give back, and that kind of stems from him a little bit.
I was thinking too, like you said, I wanted to ask you, Don Bosco is always known as that powerhouse football program, and I felt like when you kind of went there a few years ago, it seemed like you guys really picked it up in lacrosse. And also, it's not really known as being a boarding school. Like, did you stay with a family down there, or?
Well, my dad was an iron worker down in New York City, so like he lived in Pearl River, New York, so I kind of just moved in with him, went to school there. But yeah, when I first got there, it was a football school, and I feel like my grade, we had a good class of players. Like, there was probably 6 or 7 of us who went Division I. But yeah, I think our class really helped kind of change it towards a lacrosse school. And like even right now, like they're still in season right now, but they're doing really good, and they're getting players from all over the country right now. So just to kind of help grow that school.
Yeah, like you said, started that pipeline of putting them on the map as a football school, but also with a solid lacrosse team, right? And becoming more of that.
Sure.
And now let's get into Peterborough this season.
Yeah.
So what can we expect?
A Man Cup.
A Man Cup, is it?
I hope so. I mean, we've shown we can beat Six Nations.
Okay.
I mean, they were missing a players. That's going to be their argument right now. But it always comes down to the wire. Like even last year, like they swept us in the regular season, and we're up 2-1. And I remember watching the podcast, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, is Peterborough going to upset them?" But I think this year we all have the mindset that everyone's pro, each team has their good players, and we're just going to go out and play, and that's what we did on last week, and played good. We won.
And then after that win, like obviously you guys felt great, but the next game, how do you feel it's going to go? Like now they have all their players back, because like you just said, that's going to be their excuse, right?
Yeah, I mean, adding Josh Byrne and Dane Smith to any roster is obviously going to change a bunch. You know, they're the best in the world. But
Don't forget about McKay.
Yeah, Ian McKay, Orangeville guy too, pretty sure, right?
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think it's like we're also missing Joe Rezataritz. Forget Turner Evans. Like those are big players for us too, and they weren't in the lineup. So we're still kind of getting our guys in, but we're looking really good. I think we're gonna give them a good run.
What's the budget like over in Peterborough?
Jeez, I don't know.
It's an amateur league.
Blink it all if you say there's money over there. I seen a couple plays there.
You guys got a pretty big budget down in Six Nations.
Oh, I know nothing about
Again,
that.
it's an amateur league. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Just free pizza and wings after. That's all anybody gets. What's it like, kind of too, going from one, like obviously we say Six Nations, Orangeville, and then Peterborough? They love their lacrosse. Or that Peterborough team is their Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, what's it like, kind of playing there?
Like going and like playing against them in junior, like you go play against their junior A team, and they don't really have that many people in the stands. It's kind of, they probably have like 100 to 200 people maybe. And then you go to a senior game, and it's like you're playing Coburg on a Thursday night, and it's just packed.
And there's
like,
3,500 people
yeah,
there.
for like literally no reason. It's just every game it's packed. But it's weird. It's funny because it's like it's all old people too, right? It's all like a lot of the.
Do they get rowdy? The older?
They get pretty rowdy. They probably think about that as their bingo, you know.
Oh yeah.
So,
it's the night out.
Yeah.
It's rowdy when the Chiefs are there.
Oh yeah. They were saying there was like what 3,200 people at the Chiefs game.
You guys had a lot, and that was free admission. These guys are paying $30 a ticket to come go, or more probably now to play, right?
Exactly.
To watch it and stuff. And I got thinking too, I was like, the Tony Rose, also known as the Bunny Barn, right? I'm sure you guys were signing autographs back in the day, and then you said you're signing autographs for the older Peterborough fans wearing your jersey around. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. The atmosphere in Orangeville, like personally, I think Orangeville has the best fans in junior A, and you can just see that one going to the games. But it's pretty cool going from like one big venue to another as like just like talking about fans. Like I was lucky enough to play in Orangeville where they love lacrosse down there, and Peterborough, it's just kind of the hotbed of lacrosse over there for senior. So
What's the vibe in the dressing room when you guys like wake up and you look on like Instagram or wherever you guys get your news from, and you're like, oh, the Chiefs just got this player, and it's just like, oh, they're just stacking it up. Like what's the response to that, I guess?
I mean, it's kind of just they did all that and we still beat them. I mean, I think it's I don't know. It's they're gonna have all the best players in the world every year. Their budget is pretty big, I would assume. So they can kind of bring in whoever they want, and we kind of stick with a couple hometown guys, like mostly hometown guys from Peterborough. I mean, aside from me, obviously, but I think we're gonna give them a good run for their money this year.
Is that like a conversation though, that they come maybe that, you know, hey guys, you know they got the budget, but we're gonna win this like with what we got? Is that like a prideful thing in the dressing room type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I mean, like all our guys. I mean, I can't speak for the Chiefs, but I know our team is really close. I'm sure they're close too. You know, they play on the Shawnee team together. But it's gonna be a battle for sure. I think when the time comes and playoffs, the Mann Cup final is gonna be pretty awesome.
Makes it probably that much sweeter beating them and stuff like that. And who was kind of one of the guys that kind of welcomed you to Peterborough last year? Like kind of one of the first players that was like, hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the team.
Like Blake McDonald, actually, I think he was the only other Scon guy on the team, I think.
Riverman now.
I'm good friends with Blake. He kind of opened me with open arms there. He's
Great guy.
Yeah, he's a Six Nations guy, and he's a good guy. And I think, you know, Pete, or am I thinking of?
One of the younger guys on your team. I noticed, that's what I was noticing. Like you said the other night, I was like, oh, they had a lot of, like, you had some players I wasn't really too familiar with their names, but I saw they were D1 Colgate. I forgot where the other guy was from. He was another smaller D1 school, and then the kid from Newberry College. So I was like, oh yeah, they called up a couple of Riverman guys, but like you said, guys had some younger guys in your lineup.
Yeah, we actually have more younger guys this year than we did last year. I mean, it's still early on. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we got Ben Trumbull. He's a Burlington guy. He won the Minto. He's really good. They have Peyton Tass. He's an Nepean kid. We have a good young group, and I think everyone just super nice and outgoing. So it's not too hard to kind of get comfortable in the locker room.
Were you thinking Alex Pace? Is that who you're thinking of? Okay, yeah, he's a great guy. I actually got to play a random charity Masters tournament with him last year. They were on they played the Rush, and there was like a snow weekend bye. So, and then he had another bye weekend, so he come out and played this Masters lacrosse tournament.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. He's like, guys, give me a call and let me know, and maybe next NLL bye weekend I'll come out and play for you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a nice guy. I've seen him around the rink and a couple things.
I was blanking on his name.
Yeah, even then, that's when it popped in my head. Peace. I was like,
If he's watching this, I'm sorry.
yeah, no, yeah, good player, Philadelphia Wings, Nova Scotia guy actually, and kind of lives in that St. Catharines area and stuff like that. But like you said too, even he's been with Peter. Like even if the guys aren't hometown guys, or like you said, you live here, so you're kind of closer to Peterborough, and then they have guys like Pace, like guys that have been long-standing Lakers, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like last year we had Hilty. He's in the PLL right now, so we still have some hometown guys that are off playing in the PLL.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if we're gonna. I mean, with Hilt, I doubt we're gonna see him that much. You know, he's probably gonna.
That's what I think we were talking about the pod. We were like, they're kind of losing some guys. Where we were like, those chaos guys leave to go to the Chiefs and Dane and Burns, and then these guys take Owen Hiltz with the 8th pick. So it's like 8th pick PLL. He's probably going to test the waters with it, right? And then you said, obviously, you said Ethan Walker and Zach Courier too, right? So it's like, those guys are staying. And they were saying Ethan Walker actually like has his wife's a professional soccer player, and he lives in Texas. So that's what that Blake was telling us that time. I remember me and Jay were at the Arena League game. I was like, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's funny.
Was there any, and this is for both of you guys again, was there any dressing room that you guys ever walked into that was like intimidating? And I know you guys have met, like you said, you sat next to some players that you could have been kind of starstruck. But like, let's say you go into a new arena, new center, new team, new management, new whatever, and you walk in and it's like day one, right? Was give me one of those scenarios where you walked in and you were kind of intimidated. Like, which team was it? Which community was it?
I'd probably say, honestly, probably going to Salisbury. Even though like I was welcomed with open arms and like they supported me, it was a big transition for me because it was the first time I was leaving home, like for a long period of time, and that kind of took a little toll on me. I remember my mom leaving, and I might have cried a little bit, didn't want her to leave, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, and she's like, no, this is gonna be good for you, like. This is where you want to be. This is where the next step is. Mm-hmm. And it took me a little adjustment, just being, like I said, being away from home, and being 4 hours away for the first time, living by myself. It was definitely an adjustment. I wouldn't say that they weren't welcoming, but it was definitely like just an adjustment personally.
What did you need to do to make that? Like, what did you need to adjust properly, I guess? Like, I don't know whether it was maybe like call your mom or something like that, or did you find a teammate who was really helpful, or or was the coach really helpful? Like, what was it?
Yeah, so I went during 2020 was my first year, so it was right during COVID.
So just before, right?
Or yeah, it was like right before, during, I don't really remember. COVID's such a blur that, but it was during 2020, and I was coming from Canada, obviously, so I had to quarantine for 2 weeks. And there was a couple like red states, I guess, where COVID was high or whatever. And my roommate was actually from Florida, so he was a red state, so we both had to quarantine together. And I think like building that relationship during that quarantine really helped me too. And it was like, well, would I ever be friends with someone from Florida? Like really? Like I've never been to Florida or whatever at the time. So it was like definitely an adjustment meeting new people, but he definitely helped me in a way, and I definitely helped him. And then he had to transfer. He went to IMG, and then he actually one up me last week, and he played for Maryland. But he's
Maryland.
He's one of my good buddies who I met like day one at Salisbury, and it was kind of sad when he had to leave. He had some. His mom passed away, so he went back to Florida to be closer to his family. But he definitely helped me. And then I'd say like with technology, just being one phone call away, FaceTiming my mom, dad, my sister, that also definitely helped. But it definitely took some time to get used to, like just living away and living by yourself. It was I was 15 years old, and kind of living in almost like a frat house. I lived in a dorm with it's an all boys school, so it was definitely an adjustment, but I think I'm extremely grateful for it, and I made some lifelong friendships along the way, so yeah.
And what about yourself? Like, a time that you entered a dressing room or a new center, a new community, and like it took a while to get adjusted to, or like?
Honestly, maybe like probably Peterborough. Just like just a jump from junior A to senior A is you're playing against grown men. You have to kind of figure out what you're good at and what you're not, and but it's just a totally different game. But I mean, like dressing room wise, at like Peterborough, they treated me good, obviously, but
Or what about starstruck? He kind of answered his, but what about you? Were you ever got starstruck by a teammate or a player that you met?
Wouldn't say. I mean, it's hard.
It's okay if it's a Chief player.
No, yeah, definitely. It's hard because you see them all the time too, like around the res too. But I mean, obviously, like you grew up like watching Lyle, like just he's the guy, and just to like watch him, watch how he just walking around and just how he plays. That's kind of what I would if I had to define starstruck. Yeah, like, say Lyle.
That's awesome.
Were you starstruck when, or like Gary Gate, right? What was it like kind of having him as a coach? And were you starstruck when he gave you the call and said, hey, we come to Syracuse?
Yeah. So he was actually one of the first, I think he was the first coach to reach out to me. And, I remember as soon as I hung up, I saved his number and I was like, the Gary Gate in my phone. that was his contact.
All capitals?
Yeah. And, like that was a pretty cool experience that, I got to live through, is talking to Coach Gate on the phone for the first time. I was definitely nervous. He's one of the greatest. And,
Definitely.
And he's trying to recruit me, so I gotta kind of be presentable and not too much whatever. But yeah, he's a great guy to be around, and he just loves lacrosse. You can go talk to him. You don't even have to talk about Syracuse lacrosse. You can just go up there and talk to lacrosse. Go in his office. He has this bin, just all his rings. He's like, yeah, Minto, Presidents, Man Cup, NLL, like MLL, like whatever it is. He's like, yep, kind of been there, done that. No, he's awesome, and he's a great lacrosse mind to be around, especially every day. I see him every day, so it's a pretty cool experience.
And you touched on COVID a little bit. What were you doing during COVID? Because COVID can be hard, man. Like, especially like you said that you were stuck in a dorm out in college with someone.
Yeah,
and
high school.
Oh, sorry, high school?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, boarding school.
Yeah.
So, you're in boarding school. You're out there and it's you're quarantined. But what were you doing?
I was actually in New York. Well, I mean, like my
was
school.
there any lax?
I mean, in New York, like during COVID, it definitely like cleared up faster than it did like over here. So we got to like do a couple more things, but like it was kind of still locked down. Like you couldn't you could go to a field and like shoot around, mess around, but like other than that, I was kind of just in my house, nowhere really to go.
Do you feel like because I know some players feel like they missed out on a year, like they missed out on a whole year of like basically like a chance to get that Founders, to get that Minto.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me because I feel like I lost two years of junior of 2020 and I guess we call it the bubble season as a year, but I mean I don't really count that. It sucked, especially like to lose out 2 years maybe with playing with him with the Hunters. Like we were both younger at the time. We one of probably had our eyes set on junior A right away. We would have tried to stay in Kahnawake and try to win, but it was just hard. We're getting older. Our junior careers is running out, and we just kind of, well, for me personally, I just try to play at the highest level and kind of get my name out as much as possible.
And I've been asking everyone this today. What does a player need to do to be the next LeBron James or Michael Jordan of the NLL, or to like let's say or PLL if that's what you're going for? But like, what does a player need to do to elevate the sport?
You need to work hard first of all. And you look at a guy like LeBron who spends $1 million on his body every year. Like he takes good care of himself. You're not doing stupid things off the floor. And then the biggest thing I'd say is keep your stick in your hand. No matter where you are, what you're doing, like bring your stick. like honestly, personally, I like to go play like mini lacrosse or play one-on-ones, just with fiddlesticks or mini nets, and I'd much rather go do that and have fun playing lacrosse than like go and shoot on an empty goal for 3 hours. And I like the fun side of lacrosse, and I like the backyard ball side of lacrosse, and that's kind of like where I try and experiment a little bit, see what works. Like if it's working in mini sticks, maybe I can bring it out in the game. But I think that just keeping your stick in your hand and trying to play as much lacrosse as you can is really what it comes down to. Doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, who you're against. Like, go out there, have fun, play with a clear mind, and yeah.
Play with a clear mind. I like that one.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, and Trey kind of hit it on the head. Just, I mean, for me personally, just always, I kind of feel like I'm repeating Trey, but just always having your stick in your hand. I mean, even like when I'm at school, I'm in my, like when I was in my dorm last year, just kind of always like fiddling around with it, asking your buddies to go shoot. And I mean, like personally, my family, I thought helped me a lot growing up. Like I have a pretty big lacrosse family, so we're always like playing like a little scrimmage in the backyard, like takeouts, just messing around, having fun. That's where I think I got, where I got good where I thought I got good was being in the backyard with my family and just always messing around like what Trey did, trying new stuff, and that's where you kind of get your inspiration, like to try stuff in the game and stuff. So.
Okay, and who's the next ones up of the next generation? Like someone who's like U17 and under. Who can you name right now who's probably watching this? Who's going to watch this podcast and you can be like, yo, you're the next one.
U17
around
under.
here. There's going to be a lot of Kahnawake kids going to watch this, and we're going to ask you for some advice. So you're going to be looking in the camera. They all look up to you.
Down the barrel, as we say.
Yeah.
Colin's got the first answer, he said.
Okay.
I have to think about this real quick. I'll let you go while I'm thinking about it.
I was actually at the U17 practice 2 days ago, and one of the guys that kind of stood out a little bit was Kahnawake 2X. So I'd say he's pretty on the upcoming.
Hey, now you got any advice for any of the youth that are watching right now?
Just keep a stick in your hand, keep working hard. There's times where you feel like, I know I felt like that you're not doing the right thing, or you're not where you want to be. But at the end of the day, you just go back to your roots and you get back from the lab, get back in the backyard, hit the weight room, and you put your head down and you just work. At the end of the day, that's all you do is work hard, and it'll get you far in life.
How about yourself?
Yeah, just keep grinding. There's gonna be some times where you feel like you're in the dark at some points, and it only feels like you can get yourself out of. But like, you just gotta kind of go nose first into it, and just keep grinding. Trust the process. That's all I would say.
Any last minute questions?
I'm good.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
So I know you're on the other show too.
Oh, here we go.
The other show.
Can you give me a ghost story?
I can. I'll show you guys off camera the picture, but there's a residential school very close to Six Nations. It was called the Mohawk Institute, and we were there investigating. Had nothing to do with the show because I'm with a paranormal group outside of the show, so we were just there as this paranormal group. About 1:30 in the morning, second story window out back. We got a pretty good picture of something looking out the window at us. I'll show you guys off camera, but it was pretty cool, pretty creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of interactions at that same building. We have some cool EVPs. One says, "Call me master." We played it to a residential school survivor that was there in that school for 10 years. And his response was, "The son of a bitch is still there."
Wow.
So he recognized the voice.
Yeah,
It said, "Call me master."
It said, "Call me master."
That's dark.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And the survivor that we played it for, he recognized the voice, and So he knew who it was.
What's the name of your show? Give it a shout out.
The show is called Ghost Hunters of the Grand River. We're going into season 5. Season 4 will hit the air soon. Our paranormal group is called Snipe, Six Nations Investigating Paranormal Encounters. And maybe you guys can help because we're trying to get locations out here.
So you know a haunted place. You
Or
better show 'em.
4. No, for real. I've been looking around trying to get contacts to find places out here, not only to come and investigate, but to come and film episodes here. So another outlet to help put Kahnawake on the map.
Funny Farm.
Yeah.
Funny Farm, sure.
Yeah,
Scary.
I've heard of that,
Yeah.
but nobody can come up with contacts.
Yeah.
You just have to go there.
Yes, I was thinking 2 days. Show up with whatever.
Yeah, just show up with some equipment and you'll see something.
He doesn't have the Ghostbuster thing. He just has those other things.
You
right?
guys were wanting to know what was going on after the game tonight. We're going to the Funny Farm.
Oh,
This is a good question. What's going on after the game? Okay, well, yeah, what are you guys doing after the game tonight?
It's actually my dad's birthday tomorrow, so we might go hit up the casino a little bit, try and win some money.
Right on. I like that one. What about you?
I'll probably tag along with them.
There we go. There we go.
Just
That's
so
what I
you
like
guys
to
know,
hear.
these guys are probably going too.
You figure that security guard did say that last night. Where'd you guys come back from the casino? And I was like, oh no, where's that? He's like, it's 2 floors, man. Go win some money.
We'll have to meet you there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I want to thank you guys for coming on the podcast. You guys were great guests.
Thank you for having us.
A lot of enthusiasm, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
That was episode 32 of the Crazy Game Podcast. Till next time. Peace.